Imagine the clock strikes midnight as distant thunder rumbles, and somewhere in the half-light, a lone voice whispers of truths too strange to ignore. Before the age of smartphones and social media, a woman named Jeane Dixon claimed to pierce the veil of time itself, her visions rippling forward to shape our world today. With each resonant chime, we glimpse her eerie foresight, political upheavals that mirror the rise of unexpected outsiders on the global stage, and technological marvels that blur the line between human and machine echoes of AI breakthroughs like ChatGPT reshaping how we live and think. She spoke of oceans swelling and skies igniting, warning of the climate catastrophes we now confront with wildfires in Australia and unprecedented floods across Europe. Is it coincidence or cosmic design? As we piece together her most shocking prophecies, the question lingers: did history validate her words, or are we tangled in a tapestry of fear and fascination she herself could scarcely have imagined? Tonight, we delve into her chilling predictions, weaving analysis and story into a single heart-pounding journey, because the future she foresaw is ours to face, here and now. Born in 1904 in the quiet hills of Wisconsin, Jeane Dixon emerged from obscurity with a single, electrifying prophecy. She foresaw Dwight D. Eisenhower's ascent to the American presidency, catapulting her into the glare of the world's curiosity. Yet long before headlines bore her name, she wandered the corridors of the occult, claiming to hear the whisper of Nostradamus' spirit guiding her quill. In hushed tones, she spoke of future rulers born under foreign stars, of machines that would think and learn beyond human ken, visions that now resonate with the meteoric rise of artificial intelligence and digital consciousness. Though skeptics dismissed her as a charlatan, today's headlines AI authors churning out eerie tales. Political upsets shocking entire nations seem to echo the cadence of her long-ago pronouncements. Modern researchers have even unearthed newly digitized letters revealing her private doubts, where she wrestled with whether her gifts were blessing or curse. In this age of viral podcasts and binge-worthy documentaries, Jeane Dixon's legacy has taken on fresh life. Netflix's latest series on prophetic women places her alongside the greats, and AI enthusiasts debate whether algorithms can capture the spark of her mysterious insight. But before we chase the headlines and hashtags, we must return to her earliest visions, those uncanny glimpses into our own era predictions of environmental cataclysms and social revolutions that feel eerily prescient as we navigate climate crisis and populist tides. First, we'll plunge into the heart of her 21st century prophecies, tracing the threads from her whispered séances to the algorithms shaping tomorrow's world. As we follow her trail, we'll ask, did Jeane Dixon truly glimpse our future, or has every generation simply found its own mirror in her words? A hush falls over our world as we stand at the threshold of tomorrow, an age defined by quantum speed advances in artificial intelligence. From self-learning algorithms that compose symphonies to autonomous drones patrolling city streets. Beneath the neon glow of data centers, geopolitical fault lines tremble, trade wars erupt, new coalitions form, and the ripples of conflict in Eastern Europe still haunt our nightly news feeds. Meanwhile, the planet itself sends urgent dispatches record shattering heat waves in India, torrential floods across Western Europe, and the scars of wildfires that turned once verdant forests to ash in the American West. None of these cataclysms, none of this dizzying tech, existed in Jeane Dixon's world yet. In her smoky parlor, lit by flickering candles, she scribbled visions of rising seas, swallowing coastlines, and a future where intelligent machines blurred the line between man and myth. Today, as we navigate the fallout of climate summits and debate AI ethics in real time, her words weave through our headlines like ghostly echoes, daring us to ask, did she truly glimpse the chaos and promise of our era? Or do her prophecies merely reflect the fears we project onto the unknown. Let us journey into her foresight, where every warning pulse with the heartbeat of our 21st century reality. A hush descends as the dim glow of a lone spotlight reveals a figure cloaked in shadows, his voice resonating like a distant thunderclap. A leader born under a foreign flag will shake the very foundations of world order. In that moment, Jeane Dixon's quill, guided she claimed by whispers from beyond, danced across parchment to record a vision so startling it defied the comforting certainties of her era. Imagine that scene, an orator at a global summit, the audience's breath caught between skepticism and awe, as she foresaw an outsider alien, not only in nationality, but in ideology, rising to command armies of followers and redraw alliances with the audacity of a revolutionary. Today, his prophecy seems uncannily alive. Recall the recent surge of a political maverick in Eastern Europe, whose meteoric rise upended centuries-old power blocks, or the startling comeback of a celebrity-turned-president, whose birthplace once cast doubt on his allegiance, only to see him rewrite the script of his nation's destiny. Even in 2025, as parliaments quake under the weight of populist fervor and digital campaigns mobilize millions in mere hours, Dixon's words echo through every breaking headline. Was she sketching the shape of things to come, or merely tapping into a collective anxiety that every generation inherits? We watch as isolated protests morph into sweeping revolutions, as social media, an infant concept in Dixon's day, becomes the new agora where outsiders hone their voices and seize influence. Consider how AI-driven sentiment analysis now predicts electoral upsets, blurring the lines between human intuition and algorithmic foresight, much as Dixon blurred the boundaries between reality and the realm of spirits. Yet amid this whirlwind of upheaval, her most cryptic question lingers. Did she truly foresee not only the who, the foreign-born figures stepping onto the world stage, but also the how of their ascent, built on viral videos and data-mined voter profiles? Or was she simply naming a force whose mechanisms remained shrouded in mystery? As we teeter on the edge of tomorrow, where every election can pivot on a single viral clip and alliances shift in the flicker of a tweet, her prophecy becomes more than a relic of mid-20th century mysticism. It transforms into a living challenge. Are we witnessing the fulfillment of Dixon's vision, or are we casting her words in the mold of our deepest fears about change? In the end, the true unveiling comes not when political titans stand before us, but when we confront the revelation that the future is neither predetermined nor entirely unknown, and that the greatest upheaval may yet be how we understand prophecy itself. A low, resonant hum fills the darkness, as if unseen gears and circuits are awakening beneath our fingertips. This is the sound Jeane Dixon claimed to hear in her vision, centuries before the term artificial intelligence entered our lexicon. In her candlelit parlor, she wrote of machines that would think independently, their silicon hearts blurring the once sacred boundary between human soul and algorithm. Picture her, quill trembling, as she scribbled the words, "Machines will gain minds of their own, blurring human identity." Today, that prophecy crackles to life in the whir of data centers running GPT-4 and beyond, in the half-whispered rumors of quantum processors outpacing our very neurons. We glimpse her foresight when an autonomous vehicle glides through city streets at dawn, its sensors mapping every pedestrian like an invisible cartographer. Or when AI-generated art wafts across our feeds, each image indistinguishable from a painter's brushstroke. Yet for all our technological triumphs, AI companions that craft poetry at the click of a button, neural interfaces promising to download knowledge directly into our brains, there remains a shiver of unease. Did Dixon warn us of paradise or of perdition? Imagine a moment in 2025 when a chatbot, once a novelty, passes the Turing test with chilling ease. leaving us to question whether we're conversing with code or conscience. Feel the tension as a self-driving drone hovers at sunset. It's red. Light scanning the horizon, as if seeking more than just traffic patterns. Silent sentinel in a world where human and machine are twins born of the same dream. And here lies the crucible of her warning. Is the dawn of machine intelligence a promise of boundless possibility, curing disease, solving climate change, birthing art beyond our wildest imaginings, or a threat that our very identities will dissolve into lines of code, our sense of self rendered obsolete by the entities we created? In every breakthrough, whether it's a new LLM that composes symphonies or an AI-piloted spacecraft charting distant orbits, we hear the echo of Dixon's quill scratching on parchment, daring us to confront the question at the heart of her prophecy. When our creations begin to think, who will remain human? As the lines between flesh and firmware grow ever fainter, her vision becomes not a relic of mid-20th century mysticism, but a clarion call to ponder the soul of our machines, and the soul within ourselves, because the technological singularity she foretold is no longer a distant legend, but the story unfolding around us here and now. A distant thunderclap rumbles as if the sky itself were voicing a warning, and in that charged stillness, Jeane Dixon's words echo through time. Oceans will rise, skies will burn. In the candlelit hush of her séance room, she quivered, as though she felt the planet convulse beneath her feet, her quill tracing ominous glyphs that foretold a world undone by nature's fury. Fast forward to today, where satellite data reveals sea levels climbing, relentlessly coastal cities from Miami to Venice, grappling with flooding that wasn't even on the radar a century ago, and where entire forested continents succumb to firestorms so ferocious they turn night into day with ash-laden skies. Recall the summer of 2024, when record-shattering heat waves in India scorched farmlands and forced millions to seek refuge in hastily erected shelters, or the Amazon wildfires that flared anew last season, reducing ancient trees to embers and sending swirls of smoke across hemispheres. These are not distant calamities, but the very heartbeats of Dixon's prophecy, manifesting in real-time news alerts and emergency broadcasts. Yet amid the crescendo of crashing waves and crackling flames, she inserted a subtle but vital twist. This is not merely doom writ large, but a summons to action. In her vision, the same hands that raised the seas could also turn the tide if humanity heeded the call to change. Today's climate summits, brimming with negotiators waving reports from the latest IPCC assessment, feel like echoes of her ghostly gatherings as delegates scramble to reconcile economic ambition with environmental stewardship. We see her words in every wind turbine, spinning against crimson sunsets, and in every community rallying to plant mangroves along eroding shores. Even now, scientists explore carbon capture technologies once laughable in Dixon's day, as if answering a centuries-old challenge. And yet, the question pulses in every heart. Can we summon the collective will before the next storm surge overwhelms our defenses? As thunder rolls again across our screens, whether in live broadcasts from hurricane-ravaged towns or in the phones, simulated roar of a climate model's forecast, we confront the dual nature of Dixon's warning. A portrait of devastation, yes, but also a portrait of hope, drawn with the ink of possibility. For beneath the roar of crashing waves lies the steady rhythm of human resolve, waiting to be amplified. In weaving her prophecy into our current reality, we discover that the true climax isn't the cataclysm itself, but the moment we choose to act, transforming her vision from a dire premonition into a beacon that guides us toward renewal rather than ruin. And so we listen, heart pounding, to the promise tucked inside the prophecy's thunder, asking ourselves not just whether the oceans will rise, but how high we will lift our voices in response. God, in the flickering half-light between belief and doubt, we pause to hear a modern voice of reason, Jeane Dixon's legacy is a tapestry of verifiable insights entwined with unfounded imagination, observes Dr. Emily Turner, a historian who recently revisited Dixon's archives at the University of London. Even parapsychologist Dr. Raj Patel concedes that her track record stands at a precarious 50/50th some hits that send shivers down our spines, and misses that remind us how easily ambition can masquerade as revelation. Imagine the swell of anticipation in a hushed auditorium as Turner recounts Dixon's accurate predication of Eisenhower's presidency, only for Patel to then puncture the awe with unfulfilled forecasts of lunar outposts and global pacifism that never came to pass. This duality creates an electric tension. Can we trust a prophecy penned under gaslight nearly a century ago, or are we drawn into a dream of our own making? Today's digital age sharpens the stakes. Online forums burst with zealots decrying every natural disaster as proof of her clairvoyance, while skeptical threads debunk each claim with archival evidence and timeline analyses. As algorithm-driven fact-checkers cross-reference her pronouncements against Google's vast historical databases, the conversation spills onto social media, where every viral meme and TikTok clip revives her words only to be met by an equally viral counter-thread exposing inconsistencies. Yet, amid the cacophony of affirmation and repudiation, there emerges a haunting question. Does the power of her prophecy lie in its literal truth, or in its capacity to reveal our deepest fears and hopes? We see this dynamic play out in real time as popular podcasts host spirited debates, inviting both debunkers armed with spreadsheets and believers brandishing yellowed letters. The atmosphere crackles with the same energy as one of Dixon's legendary séances, where a skeptic's gasp could be drowned by a believer's whispered invocation of Nostradamus' spirit. In this ever-evolving saga, the mystery refuses to settle. Instead, it coils around us like smoke, leaving us to wonder whether the enduring fascination with Jeane Dixon is testament to her genuine insight or proof that, as we chase answers in her prophecies, we are really chasing the parts of ourselves that yearn for meaning beyond the mundane. In a weathered, yellowed envelope discovered in a suburban New Jersey attic just last year, a trembling hand penned a desperate plea to Jeane Dixon. Your words saved my family in 1956 when you warned of a brutal winter. Tell me, will the coming storm be our last? Inside that letter lay the raw heartbeat of belief and terror. For this writer had stockpiled coal and canned peaches on Dixon's council, only to watch ice shatter their front windows when temperatures plunged beyond any record. Decades later, a modern-day devotee posted on an online forum how she'd invested every penny in coastal real estate after Dixon's prophecy of rising seas only to see her beachfront home swallow a half-meter of sand last summer, a cruel testament to both prophecy and prophet. These intimate testimonies weave a tapestry of loss, hope, and fear. The widow in Ohio who lived on canned beans after trusting a warning of food shortages. The tech entrepreneur in Silicon Valley who framed a tattered clipping predicting machines with souls before shipping his company's AI to oblivion, and the poet in Edmonton who penned elegies for a future she never hoped to see. Each anecdote pulses with the question at the core of Dixon's legacy. What would you do if you believed the world was ending? As we scroll through TikTok testimonials in 2025, some tearful, some triumphant, we witness lives suspended between faith and folly, where a single forecast could mean survival or folly. Psychologists now study this phenomenon as prophetic stress, documenting cases where individuals make life-altering decisions on the strength of predictions made nearly a century ago. Climate activists cite Dixon's environmental warnings in op-ed pieces alongside the latest IPCC projections, while contrarians warn of a self-fulfilling prophecy driven as much by social media momentum as by mystic insight. Amid the digital cacophony, the human toll emerges in all its fragile Beautiful complexity. The woman who never had children, because she believed the oceans would rise by 2000, only to find herself childless and alone at 70. The community in coastal Bangladesh that fortified their homes after hearing her voice on a grainy radio recording, a decision that saved thousands when cyclones struck in 2023. In each story, the pulse quickens at that suspended moment before action, where prophecy meets choice and we confront our own reflection in the mirror of her words. Because ultimately, Dixon's greatest legacy may not be the accuracy of her visions, but the measure of our courage when faced with the question she once posed beneath flickering candlelight. What would you do if you truly thought the world was ending? A fevered montage of flashing headlines ignites the screen. AI chatbots achieve consciousness, say researchers. Coastal cities brace for unprecedented tidal surge. Populist outsider topples establishment in stunning upset. Each fragment a pulse of modern reality that seems to reverberate with Jeane Dixon's ancient visions. The music swells strings, rising like a gathering storm, underscoring the yell. Electricity of possibility and peril, entwined in every prediction. We glimpse a world on the brink. News tickers scroll urgent climate alerts as wildfires rage across California and floods engulf Jakarta. Snippets of viral press conferences capture voice-activated drones debuting on city streets. Candid clips of grassroots protests surge through social feeds, fueled by digital algorithms Dixon could scarcely have imagined. Yet amid this cascade of proof and pandemonium, a single resonant question surfaces above the din. As we stand on the edge of tomorrow, do we heed her warnings or dismiss them as coincidence? It is a moment suspended between belief and doubt, where her century-old prophecies collide with our real-time headlines, daring us to decide whether these coincidences are mere chance or echoes of something far deeper. In these rapid cuts, her words become a mirror reflecting our collective anxieties and aspirations, reminding us that every breakthrough, every disaster, every political tremor might carry the imprint of a voice that once spoke from beyond. And as the strings reach their crescendo, we're left with the undeniable truth that the future she foresaw is not some distant dream, but the very world we inhabit, teetering on the precipice of revelation or regret, awaiting our answer. A final hush settles as the echoes of Dixon's centuries-old quill fade into the hum of our modern world, and we find ourselves staring into a mirror she held up to humanity's soul. Jeane Dixon offered us more than a litany of prophecies. She illuminated our deepest fears and loftiest hopes. From the thunder of political upheaval to the silent stirrings of sentient machines and the relentless rise of the seas. Now, in 2025, as negotiators wrestle with the latest climate accords in Dubai, and ethicists debate AI personhood in Geneva, her words reverberate with uncanny clarity, reminding us that every headline, whether a viral video of a self-driving car gliding through neon streets or a breaking alert of record flooding in Bangkok, beats in rhythm with her vision. So we turn to you, the listener perched on this precipice of tomorrow. Which of Dixon's chilling forecasts strikes your heart with the strongest pulse? Was it the image of technology blurring our humanity, the specter of global turmoil, or the elemental fury of a planet in distress? Share your choice in the comments, for it is through our collective reflection that her legacy truly lives on. And as the final notes of our story drift into silent strings subsiding, thunder fading, we leave you with a simple, stirring invocation. Stay curious, stay vigilant, because the future remains unwritten, and in the space between prophecy and reality, we each hold the pen.